today because our tomatoes are finally coming in. So we have a lot of tomatoes we have to use, and one of my favorite things to do is to make pizza. So I have here now, I used to make my own crust. Sometimes it came out, sometimes it didn't. So I suggest you just go buy some frozen pizza dough at a grocery store. Kowalski's Care is a great brand. And I've got a pizza stone here, a little bit of cornmeal to the stone. This is so your dough does not stick when you're cooking it. Take your dough, stretch it out a little bit. You can kind of be like those pizza guys or girls on TV. Do a little bit of that. Let's stretch this out. Doesn't have to be perfectly round or anything. Sometimes I pick it up, turn it over so that the cornmeal is on both sides, and spread it out a little bit more. You can use a regular cookie sheet, it's just not as convenient. Make sure you put a lot of the cornmeal on that. And so this is nice, you got yourself a little, I like it a little thicker on the edges. I use the CGD, shake it up, just pour in a little ramekin, brush it on there. That gives your crust a wonderful little tone of flavor. So brush this on there, and I've preheated the oven to 450. Check that out. Now I'm going to put it in the oven for about 5 minutes, just to give the crust a little bit of cooking, a little prep, a little crust before you put any of the cheese or other ingredients on. So let me go do that. And I will come back and show you how I top it. You could top it any way you want, but we'll give you some ideas. Here we go, out of the oven. Does not look good. It's got a very, very light little brown on it, and it's half cooked, I would say. So now it's out, and as you can see, all these absolutely delicious plum tomatoes from the garden. I'm gonna use those, some fresh mozzarella, and basil. So I don't use tomato sauce a lot of times. I just put the actual tomatoes on, which is delicious. And I do tomatoes first, and then the cheese, and then the basil. So let's get moving on that. Use fresh produce from your garden. And if you don't, just go to the store and get some, whatever you love that's fresh. You really do taste the difference. I brush this with my CGD. So I do not need to put any other spices on here, excuse me, because that's already covered with the CGD. So I have my tomatoes on, and as you can see, I like kind of a lot of tomatoes. And then I use fresh mozzarella. You can use the shredded kind if you want, and I just rip it apart a little bit and add that. Cover in your tomatoes, and again, CGD on the bottom. So we're gonna cook at 450, I would say, for 10 minutes until the cheese is nice and bubbly. Basil, again from the garden. And I just sliver it. If you do have basil in your garden, I mean, this is always a good idea. Just put it in a vase with water. It'll even start to re-root itself, so it's not like it's gonna go bad. There's no salt in CGD. Part of the reason is because I like to add it myself. I like to know how much I'm putting in there. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt to this. Oh, the house is gonna smell so good. And I'll show you the finished product. Look at this beauty. Doesn't that look fantastic? Whew. It smells amazing and so easy. I mean, that was half an hour. And there you've got a wonderful homemade pizza. So tune in again. I'll find you some other wonderful things to make, and enjoy your pizza. Have a wonderful evening.